Hi, I'm Steve Corona, and I'm going to be your host for this virtual internship. Today we're speaking to Lyndia Heavrin, and we're at the Lawton Park Greenhouse. It's part of the City of Fort Wayne's Parks and Recreation Department. And today we're going to be talking about an entry-level position in the City Parks and Recreation Department, Gardner. So, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Welcome to the greenhouse.
Thank you. It's a lovely place. Tell me about the hiring and selection process here. How do you get in here?
Well, most of our gardeners start as seasonals. We have 11 full-time gardener positions, but we hire quite a few seasonals for the year. They work about 9 months out of the year. And almost all of our gardeners have at one point been a seasonal and get a lot of training that way.
Is that a great way to get your foot in the door, is to take a job in the summertime here?
Oh, absolutely, yes, because then you know the job, and when it's time for us to fill a full-time position, those people have the experience that's necessary and the knowledge about the parks to get a good foot in the door.
And you also have had a chance to see what kind of a worker they are, their work ethic.
That's correct, yes, we do see how they work, and we found most people that do that as a seasonal really have a passion for it.
Yeah.
So we see that also.
So what level of education and experience? I mean, we've talked about perhaps taking that job as a summer worker, but what else are you looking for when you're considering the filling of a vacancy here?
Well, we don't require much beyond high school diploma, GED, and experience. A lot of our gardeners have gone back. Landscape technology classes at Ivy Tech are offered, and that's helpful. Most of it's on the job training.
Okay. So what can you make here? Entry-level position, what is the hourly wage?
The hourly wage starts at $17.58. Top pay for our head gardener is $19.49.
I think that amount of money would surprise a lot of folks.
It does. It's a city position,
Yeah.
so we have good paying jobs. Our seasonal jobs start out at $10 an hour, so that's not bad.
Right.
But it's incentive for people to have a goal of that full-time position and the benefits that go with the city job.
Tell us about your experience here, you going back to high school. Tell me a little bit about how you got into this field.
Well, yes, I told you I didn't really think I could do something like this and find a good job. But I was working as a seasonal. I was actually working at the Botanical Conservatory as a seasonal and learned about these jobs and ended up going to college because I was looking for more of a management position or education type of position, which required a degree.
You also told me that your mother, as a role model, worked in an office and had to get dressed up, and you as a teenager thought, that's what I would have to do.
Right. And I learned that I didn't have to do that, that there were other jobs. That's been many years ago, but and I don't think that role model's quite the same anymore, but this is a great type of position for people who like to be outside.
Yeah.
We're never indoors. The gardeners are not indoors much. They help in the wintertime here at the greenhouse if we need it, and down at the Botanical Conservatory when we do the show changes down there. But otherwise, you're outside.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about the responsibilities of this job.
They do everything that's needed out in the parks. We consider these Class A parks where we have either the floral beds, the fountains, like at Fryman. So they do the pruning, planting, mulching, fertilizing, spraying weeds, pulling weeds, a little bit of everything that needs done out in those parks.
I got to believe that the gardeners take great pride and personal ownership in the gardens to which they're assigned.
Oh, absolutely. That's how we know when they're doing a good job. We get a lot of comments from the public about how beautiful the gardens are and how beautiful the parks are. And I think that's just part of what makes this a good position for someone who has that passion.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about the work day, work week. Is it 5 days a week, 6 days a week, 4 hours a day, 8 hours a day? What is that typical work week and work day like?
Well, we work 7 to 3 Monday through Friday, most of us. There are some gardeners who work Sunday through Thursday to cover weekends, or Tuesday through Saturday, especially with the promenade position now. We have someone down there 7 days a week. One of the most important characteristics, I believe, for this type of position is flexibility. Because you could have big plans on what you're going to do for that day. You're going to go out and go mulching. We found out we had a storm the night before. There's damage. You have to go out and clean up the storm damage.
Yeah.
So it changes.
So you have to be a little flexible with your schedule.
Well, no, we still have those unless we need to stay over
Right.
and do something. But it's still 7 to 3.
Yeah.
But as far as what we get done in a day, that's where flexibility is important.
So what would you consider to be the most important aspect of the job potential employees need to be aware of?
I think they have to have some compassion for what we do, and compassion. We deal with the public a lot, and in all the parks we have brides, we have families, we have all sorts of people celebrating and playing in the parks, and understanding that this is for them and
Yeah.
we're doing it for them is
So
important.
you're working with plants, but you're also going to be dealing with human beings from time to time.
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time. Yeah.
So how do you evaluate performance? You manage this department. How do you evaluate individual performance?
Well, as part of the city, we have an evaluation process where the gardeners set goals every year, and we do evaluations, and we meet with the gardeners and find out what their plans are for the year and talk about what we would like to see finish for that next year, the next projects.
So what does success look like?
I think a beautiful park and a happy employee.
Yeah. What resources do you provide employees to help them succeed in their position?
Well, the landscape supervisor meets with the employees several times a year just to make sure everyone is on track,
Yeah.
thinking about the same projects and things like that. We also require of our new hires that they have a pesticide license, which requires credits, educational credits.
Okay.
So those employees are going to educational classes 1 or 2 times a year as we can to get those credits.
So you want to make sure that they're helping plants grow and not killing the plant that they've just planted in the
Right,
ground.
yes.
Right. So what do you think are the biggest challenges of this position?
The challenges are, the biggest challenge is not getting everything done. We have a very small crew for all the parks that we take care of, and when you have years like this when they're doing a lot of watering and can't get other things done when it's hot and dry, that's a challenge because we all have our goals that we want to accomplish, and sometimes things get in the way of those goals.
Like Mother Nature.
Exactly, yes.
So you talked about the fact that if you right now hire in as a seasonal worker, you'll make $10 an hour, and regular full-time gardener about 17. Are there other opportunities for advancement?
Yes, there are. We have quite a few people in management positions that started as a seasonal and worked their way up into those management positions.
Tell us again about your story, your history with the Parks Department, because you have risen up.
Yes,
right?
I did. I started as a part-time worker down at the Botanical Conservatory when it first opened, and I was working evenings and weekends and was also doing flower beds at Canterbury Green at the time, and realized I really like this work.
Yeah.
And I would like to advance, and realized that I needed a degree, so I ended up going back to college, graduating at 38 years old with my degree in public horticulture.
So it's never too late to start college.
No, it was probably my best decision, is to wait and get experience in the jobs.
Yeah.
Then I knew what I wanted.
Yeah. So what, is there a typical career path that you've seen for a number of the gardeners in the department?
Well, most of the gardeners come in as seasonals, like I said, or they have a lot of experience in landscaping. But our gardeners don't leave. They very rarely leave these jobs, except for going into maybe a different position within
Right.
the parks. Most of them stay in this job and retire.
Is that an indication of job satisfaction?
I believe so, absolutely. Yeah, we have some that move on to other positions in the city. Um, some have even come back as seasonal workers after they've retired.
Are there, Linda, professional organizations, associations, additional learning that you would encourage your gardeners to consider? I know you talked about certification for better understanding pesticides, but are there some other classes that you would encourage your gardeners to take?
Well, for the gardeners, probably not so, but for someone in high school who's thinking about it, this is really art and science. And I think it was important for me when I look back that I enjoyed the sciences, especially when I went back to college. But taking classes that'll lead you towards that helps a lot. Ivy Tech has landscape technology classes, and those are always helpful because they give you the basic information that you need for the science part of the job.
So we're going to have students at the middle high school grades and high school levels looking at this video, trying to figure out a career path for themselves. What advice would you give them? You've given them some ideas, but what additional advice might you give those students?
Well, I would suggest trying the job.
Okay.
One of my first jobs was out on a farm, and I realized then how much I liked being outside, didn't want to sit at a desk. So getting that summer job and just trying it and see if that's what you want. Experiencing being outside when it's 90 some degrees or raining or whatever, and see if that's what you enjoy.
Yeah. So that office job may look awfully comfortable on a very hot, sticky day.
Maybe.
Maybe.
For some.
But it may then be the place that you may want to spend your couple of years or the rest of your life.
Yeah, it helps to decide.
Yeah. Any final thoughts that you would offer students about this as a career opportunity, a career pathway?
Well, as I thought about it, I realized that our gardeners have a lot of passion for what they do. They like being out in the parks. They like making it beautiful. They like looking back at something and saying, hey, I accomplished that.
So there's that high level of self-satisfaction and pride in being a gardener.
That's correct. Yes, there is.